Hi everyone, today we will discuss the transfer portal winners and losers. I'm going to tell you my process as I'm sure I didn't come up with this list the way others did. For this list, we took into consideration those players that were retained and didn't get into the transfer portal, and if they were quality players, that is a win for the home team. In addition, I did my calculations by putting in all eligible players into my database, gave them scores based on last year's stats. If you didn't play last year, you didn't get points. Weighted them based on points per games, rebounds per games, assists per games, steals per games, blocks per games, and a little bonus for those that average more than 2 3-pointers made per game. Because being a 3-point sniper when it's needed most in a game has to hold some value, right? So this list won't reflect teams that had the most transfers as the biggest losers, or the teams with the most incoming as the biggest winners. It's based on the quality of the player. Welcome to Davis Sports Report, where we continue to do the research and bring you the informative information. We thank you so much for coming to our channel and showing us love. So go ahead and hit that like button to help us with this crazy algorithm. Also, subscribe as we will have tons more entertaining information to bring you. Now let's get started with the losers of the transfer portal. We will discuss the top 5. Coming in at number 5 is Georgia Tech. Tech's coach Nell Fortner resigned and the players scattered. We saw Kara Dunn, Tony Morgan, and Danny Carnegie all enter the transfer portal. These were the top 3 scorers for the Yellow Jackets. Kara Dunn averaged 15.5 points per game with 5.8 rebounds, showing that she's effective on both ends of the court. Tony Morgan averaged 13.7 points per game and 4.5 rebounds per game and led the team with 5.6 assists per game. And Danny Carnegie averaged 12.9 points per game with 4.5 rebounds per game, and she put up 66 3-pointers last year. Also leaving Tech is Chastity Wright, who averaged 7.2 points per game, and Rusne Augustinate, who averaged 5.2. And while the Yellow Jackets were able to gain 6 players from the portal, their quality did not match those that they are losing. At number 4 is University of Central Florida. Central Florida lost major pieces in their lineup, including their top scorer, top rebounder, and top assist maker. Caitlin Peterson averaged 21.4 points per game, putting her in the top 15 of all Division I women's basketball. Emily Rodriguez averaged 11.9 points per game and 5.3 rebounds. Achel Akkad averaged 6.6 points per game and 6.8 rebounds, making her the top rebounder for the Lady Knights. In addition, UCF also lost Neva Brown, who averaged 8.8 points per game and was top for assists for the Lady Knights with 2.6 assists per game. Layla Jewett, who averaged 7.3 points per game, and Kayla Noad, who averaged 6.9 points per game and 5.9 rebounds per game, making her a solid player for the Knights. Coming in at number 3 is Wake Forest. Wake Forest had a rough go of it in the portal, losing their top scorer, rebounder, and block shots. Riley Thirakoff, the Demon Deacons' top scorer, averaged 12 points per game. Demaria Hines averaged 9.3 points per game and was the top rebounder with an average of 5.6 rebounds per game. And Malaya Cowles, who averaged 8.8 points per game and pulled down an average of 5.1 rebounds per game, as well as topping the boards for block shots with 0.6 blocks per game. In addition, Wake Forest lost Alyssa Andrews, who averaged 4.2 points per game and 4.2 rebounds per game, and Aurora Sorbier, who averaged 4.2 points per game. The Demon Deacons were able to pull 3 players from the portal, but they are all from smaller conferences, so I couldn't give them as many points on their stats as their competition isn't the same. That makes sense, right? If you're balling out of control in high school against lesser competition, it doesn't automatically translate to being able to ball out with the big dogs. And at number 2 on the portal loser side is Utah. The Utes only lost 2. One of those players were a big deal. Gianna Neepkins, the Utes' top scorer, averaged 19.3 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game, and put up 94 3-pointers last year, putting her in the top 30 in Division I women's basketball for scoring and top 10 on the Division I for 3-pointers. Yep, big deal. Also, Reese Ross, who averaged 7.8 points per game and 5 rebounds per game. There was one other player that left the Utes, but her stats weren't significant enough to lose the Utes points. Utah did gain 2 players from the portal, but nowhere near what they lost. At the top of the portal losers, at the number 1 spot is Boston College. And if you've been paying attention to the transfer portal videos and the conference updates that we've been putting out, then this doesn't surprise you. Boston College seemed to be the stepping stone for great players as they tend to leave after 1 year. Coach McNamee has stated publicly that a school like Boston College simply can't compete in this NIL game. So this revolving door is likely to continue. Leaving the Eagles is Tiana Todd, who averaged 13.7 points per game, making her the top scorer, but she also put up 67 three-pointers for the Eagles. Also, Tia Sidbury, who's a big loss as she averaged 12.5 points per game and 7 rebounds per game, making her the top rebounder. And Andrea Daly, who averaged 8.6 points per game and 5.9 rebounds. In addition, they are also losing Kayla Ivey, who topped for assists with an average of 5 assists per game. Kennedy Jackson, Tatum Green, who led the Eagles in block shots, Savannah Samuels, who averaged 6.3 points per game, and Nini Nadia, who helped out on both sides, putting up an average 4.4 points per game and 2.3 rebounds, and doing so with an average of 13 minutes per game. And here are the top 10 on the losers side. Number 1, Boston College. Number 2, Utah. Number 3, Wake Forest. Number 4, University of Central Florida. Number 5, Georgia Tech. Number 6, Kansas State, who lost Diana Walker, Briley Glenn, and Giselle Sanchez. Number 7 is Mississippi State, who lost top rebounder Medina Okot, Debrisha Powell, Chandler Prater, Denham DeShields, Destiny McPhails, and Quinera Montague. At number 8 is Indiana, who lost their top scorer, Yardine Gozone, and Lily Meister. At number 9 is California, who lost Marta Suarez, who was a major contributor both offensively and defensively. And because they lost so many due to eligibility running out, it left the Cal Bears almost depleted, with the exception of Lulu. This was a loss they could not afford. They did pick up 3 from the portal, including Miracle Shepherd from LSU, Zakima Walker from South Carolina, and neither of these players played significant minutes last year. At number 10 is Arkansas, who lost top rebounder Vera Ojinawa, Kiki Smith, Carly Keats, and Phoenix Stojan. And with their top scorer Izzy Higginbottom out, the returning players, along with the couple they picked up from Oral Roberts, who did give them points, albeit lower, and they picked up Wynette Mayberry from Kansas. They just weren't able to make up for the losses. Now let's move on to the winners. Again, it's not quantity, but quality. And keep in mind that retaining players earns points. Coming in at number 5 is a 3-way tie. Let's start with the Texas Longhorns. Being retained is top scorer for the Longhorns, Madison Booker, who averaged 16.3 points per game and 6.6 rebounds. She is a great 2-way player. Also, Rory Harmon, who averaged 9.3 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, and impressive 5.9 assists per game. Kayla Oldacre, who averaged 8.8 points per game and 5.9 rebounds, this while averaging less than 20 minutes per game. Oldacre is underrated in my opinion, but I expect we will see more of her this year. Also coming back for the Longhorns is Brianna Preston, Jordan Lee, and Justice Carlton. Joining from the portal are Brianna Cunningham, averaging 11 points per game and 7 rebounds per game. Ashton Judd, averaging 11.6 points per game and 5 rebounds, and Tia Sidbury from Boston College, averaging 12.5 points per game and 7 rebounds per game. All 3 above-average players that will be pivotal for the Longhorns next season. Also at number 5 is Kentucky. Being retained is Clara Strag, averaging 15.4 points per game, 9.7 rebounds, and 2.4 blocks, putting her 11th overall in the nation's last season. Also, Tioni Key, averaging 11.4 points per game, 8.3 rebounds, and 1 block shot. Amelia Hassett, who averaged 8.6 points per game, 7.9 rebounds per game, and she put up 55 three-pointers. Joining from the portal are Toni Morgan from Georgia Tech, who averages 13.7 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, and 5.6 assists per game, putting her 19th nationwide for assists. and Josie Gilvin from Western Kentucky and Asia Boone from Liberty. Smaller conferences, so fewer points per stat. And lastly, at number 5 is UConn. Yes, the Huskies. Being retained is Sarah Strong, the number 1 freshman from the 24-25 season, averaging 16.4 points per game, 8.9 rebounds per game, and 3.6 assists. Add that to that 2.3 steals per game and 1.7 blocks, and well, Strong is in the top 10 of our player list. Ozzie Fudd averaged 13.6 points per game, 2 rebounds, 1.4 steals, and she put up 79 three-pointers last season. Ashlyn Shade averaging 7.7 points per game and 2.7 rebounds, and Jenna L. Alfie, the 6'5" rising sophomore who averaged 5 points per game and 5.1 rebounds, which is great considering she averaged 16 minutes per game, so she made the most of her minutes on the court. Also coming back is KK Arnold, Ice Brady, Morgan Chile, and really the rest of the gang, minus Cadence Samuels. Joining from the portal is one, but she's an impressive one. And that's going to be Sarah Williams, who's also on our top 10 players list, being the only team on our list with 2 top 10 players. Sarah is coming from Wisconsin, where she averaged 19.2 points per game, 9.8 rebounds per game, basically double-double, 2.4 assists, 2.3 blocks. The UConn defense with Sarah Williams and Sarah Strong, Sarah. It reminds me of the Jonathan Butler song where he asks, "How did the fire die?" Well, this fire is about to be scorching hot. At number 4 is South Carolina. Being retained for the Gamecocks is rising sophomore Joyce Edwards, averaging 12.7 points per game and 5 rebounds per game. Chloe Kitts, averaging 10.2 points per game and 7.7 rebounds per game. And Kitts really had her most valuable season this past season, and she really showed up by grabbing the big rebounds. Also, Ashlyn Watkins, who was out most of the year due to personal issues, and later in the season she suffered an injury. If she's back next season, she will be a big help as she averaged 7.2 points per game, 6.1 rebounds per game. She was also the top blocker for the Lady Gamecocks while she was in the game, nearly 2 blocks per game. And Tessa Johnson, who averaged 8.4 points per game and 2.2 rebounds. Also coming back for the Lady Gamecocks is Raven Johnson, Maddie McDaniel, Miriam Dowda, and Adhel Talk. Joining from the portal, our top scorer in the nation, Tanaya Latson from Florida State, who averaged 25.2 points per game, 4.6 rebounds per game, and 4.6 assists per game. She is top tier all around. And 6'6" Medina Akot from Mississippi State, who averaged 11.3 points per game and 9.6 rebounds, putting her 40th in the nation last season. These two were quality pickups for the Lady Gamecocks to add to their already strong roster returning. They did lose Malaysia Fulwali and Sakima Walker, but more than made up for it with the 2 pickups that they got. In the number 3 spot is Ole Miss Rebels. Coming back for the Rebels are Sierra Thano, who averaged 10.5 points per game and 4.7 rebounds per game, and Christine Iwawala, who averaged 6.8 points per game and 4.7 rebounds. Coming in from the portal are the big wins. Caitlin Peterson from University of Central Florida, and as we mentioned before, she's 15th in the nation for scoring with 21.4 points per game. Cody McMahon, who averaged 16.5 points per game and 4.7 rebounds per game. Latasha Latimore, who averaged 14.9 points per game, 8.2 rebounds per game, and here's the big gain. She averaged 2.2 blocks per game, putting her 20th in the nation. She also has over 1,000 career points and pulled in multiple double-doubles last season. And Debrisha Powell, who averaged 8.4 points per game. Also heading to Ole Miss are Denham DeShields and Jayla Murray. Next up, at number 2 spot is Maryland. Retained by the Terrapins are Kaylin Smichael, who averaged 17.9 points per game and 4.4 rebounds per game. Bree McDaniels, who averaged 10.6 points per game. Sailor Puffenbarger, who averaged 9.1 points per game and 7.2 rebounds per game, and Mira McLean, who averaged 4.1 points per game and 4.3 rebounds, while averaging only 15 minutes per game, so she's very effective when she's on the court. Joining from the portal are Gracie Markle, who averaged 15.5 points per game and 8.6 rebounds per game. Gracie also averaged 1.5 blocks per game. Yardine Garzon from Indiana, who averaged 14.4 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, and 3.2 assists. Garzon sank 88 three-pointers last season, putting her 17th for the threes in the nation. The Lady Terrapins will know who to get the ball to when the game is on the line. Call it clutch. And Aluche Okananwa, who averaged 10.1 points per game and 5.3 rebounds. These were massive pickups for the Terrapins, with all three players scoring in the double digits. Maryland lost Allie Quebec and Emily Fisher, but more than made up for their losses with these three big gets. And the top spot for the wins goes to UCLA, mostly due to who they retained. Let's take a look. First off, Lauren Betts, who's not just a quality player, she's one of the premier players in women's basketball, appearing on several leadership boards nationwide. She's top 25 scoring, averaging 20.2 points per game, top 50 in rebounds, averaging 9.5 rebounds per game, and top 5 in block shots, averaging nearly 3 blocks per game. That alone is going to put the Bruins near the top of the transfer portal list by keeping her off the portal list and returning her to UCLA. Also coming back for the Bruins is Kiki Rice, averaging 12.8 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, and 5 assists, landing her in the top 40 for assists nationwide. And Gabrielle Jaquez, averaging 9.6 points per game and 5.3 rebounds. Tamia Gardner, averaging 7.6 points per game, 3.4 rebounds, and putting up 64 three-pointers in the bucket at a 39.5% accuracy. And Angela Dugalic, averaging 7.4 points per game and 5.5 rebounds per game. Also returning are Amanda Muse and Charlize Ledger-Theron. And if that wasn't enough, joining the Bruins from the portal is Gianna Neepkins. And as we stated before, she was Utah's top scorer, averaging 19.3 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game, and put up 94 three-pointers last year, putting her in the top 30 in Division I women's basketball for scoring, and top 10 for Division I for three-pointers. They lost Janiah Barker, London Jones, and the 2024 freshman recruits Elena Arnasalo, Kendall Dudley, Avery Kane, and Zanaya Saka-Newman. But because the freshmen didn't get much playing time, it didn't reflect in a major overall reduction of the total score for UCLA. The full top 10 winners are number 1, UCLA, number 2, Maryland, number 3, Ole Miss, number 4, South Carolina, number 5's UConn, Texas, and Kentucky. At number 8 is Minnesota, bringing back 4 starters that scored in the double digits. Maura Braun, Grace Grachowski, who also gained points for her 72 three-pointers, Amaya Battle, and Tori McKinney, that also bringing back Mallory Hare, who averaged 8.1 rebounds per game. Coming in at number 9 was Iowa State, who has Audie Crooks, Addie Brown, Kenzie Hare, Sydney Harris, who isn't a starter, but sank 61 three-pointers for the Cyclones, and Ariana Jackson returning. And they are bringing in Jada Williams from Arizona and Evangelina Polk from Wofford. And coming in at number 10 was TCU, where they are bringing in highly effective players like Olivia Miles from Notre Dame, averaging 15.4 points per game and 16th overall in nation for assists. As well, she put up 73 three-pointers for the Fighting Irish last season. Also, Marta Suarez from California and Kennedy Basham from Arizona State, who's 6th in the nation for block shots. Next on the list was pretty much a tie between West Virginia, Miami, Baylor, Georgia, LSU, and Tennessee. And any of these teams could grab one of the quality players left in the portal, and it could put them on the top 10 winners list. This is if they have availability on their roster. If you didn't already check out our available positions for the ACC, SEC, and Big Ten, go check those videos out. You know what to do. Drop those comments below letting me know if you think my formula worked or if you thought another team should be on the winner's top 10. We brought you a lot of great information, so go ahead and hit that like button to let us know you want us to keep it coming. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you on the next one. Goodbye.